So what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, right? Remember, this was 1993. So for you people who don't watch movies, this was actually inspired by whatever the new Tyler Perry movie is that was on Netflix. It's a character in that reminds me a lot of Mrs. Doubtfire. Didn't watch the whole movie. I just happened to see clips walking past the living room. But there's a character that reminds me of Mrs. Doubtfire, and I thought about it because I did a video also about is the LGBT community trolling heterosexual relationships. But I talked about these gay fathers, right? And what happened was the gay fathers were, they didn't have baby mama drama. And I've seen that for years where the gay fathers didn't have baby mama drama. And I'm like, how did y'all pull this off? Straight men have the drama, the gay dudes don't. I'm like, something's off. And when I saw the character in the Tyler Perry thing, I was like, it just threw me back to when we talk about custodial issues and child support, child custody, this, that, and the third. People act like it's brand new, and I'm trying to say, Robin Williams starred as a man in a movie that came out in 1993 who basically quit his job and dressed up in drag to become like an old Irish nanny to take care of to see his own kids. That's how far he went to do that. Because, and it was a comedy, but, and the genius of it was such a comedy, it was very palatable to go, wow, look how far dad would go to be with his kids. But people didn't realize, if you saw the movie, he was a good father in the first place, but it was a vindictive divorce, basically, an ugly divorce. So she wanted to take the kids from him, and that's what she did. And the kids had to realize, yo, this lady coming to be our nanny is actually our dad. And they figured that out along the way. But I say that to say, and what is that? That's almost 30 years ago. It's almost 30 years ago because it's 2022 when I'm making this video. But when something 29 years ago happens, and I see on television that guys who are more effeminate are getting more time around their children, it made me think like, yo, it's sad to say this, but you're going to have a hard time being a parent in society as a man just because you're a man. That, and we've always known that, but when it's easier for a homosexual man to be a father to a daughter and raise a daughter, and people don't, and I'm sure the comment section was like, but it's not like that. If it was a heterosexual man, it'd be worse. He shouldn't have custody. Everybody needs a mother, blah, blah, blah. But you got to ask, how did they get custody in the first place, right? Not dumping on the guys or whatever, but same thing with the other dude. He had a son. So one dude has a daughter, the other dude has a son, and I'm sitting there looking and I'm thinking to myself, like, when I see that the Mrs. Doubtfire-esque character in the Tyler Perry thing is like, yo, do y'all remember when Daddy's Little Girl came out? He basically lost custody of his children because to the mother who was dating a drug dealer, and they was in a drug dealer's house, and the court was cool with that. That says a lot about society. And shout out to Dennis Sperling. He talked about some of the things that he went through on Mr. Palmer's show. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. And when lawyers say they're going through it and judges say they're going through it, or you can see lawyers go through it and judges go through it, and these are people who work in the court system, you got to ask a question like, the money really must be good. If you ever seen Divorce Court, where court is C-O-R-P, it's a documentary, and you'll see the money involved in these situations. It'll make you go, wait, this is crazy. So, and the reason why I brought up the Mrs. Doubtfire thing, because I don't think, people thought about this. He had to already have money to be able to play this role and kind of quit his job. But most importantly, he basically was paying child support and getting paid by the mother as a nanny to take care of his kids. So he was basically, he got, it was a double finesse, you know what I'm saying? But take out the makeup and the prosthetics, and that was in the 90s, he would have really came out in the negative, but that's bad, man. And I'm going to use some of that to talk about some other things today. So, like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch you on the next one. Peace.